Hello Libra, welcome to this reading. My name is Zane and we are going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Libra for the week of March 14th. Now Libra, do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Now Libra, I do not offer personal readings, so if you get a message from someone, that is not me. That's someone impersonating me. Please do keep that in mind. Please do not get scammed. I also do exclusive content on my Instagram, so if that's your thing, definitely give me a follow there. But with all of that said, let's go ahead and see what we have here for you. Now you'll notice that the table is a little bit different, and that is because I am traveling, but have no fear, the messages will be the same. There's a bit of a blue hint or a blue hue to the reading, and that is because I am right by the ocean. So it's very nice, but if you were curious, that is why. So, all right, let's go ahead and make sure everything's in view here, and Libra, we'll get right into it for you. I think that looks just about good enough to me. Put this right here. And all right, so taking a look here, Libra, you have kind of two major themes here showing up in the two major arcanas. What's very interesting is you have a combination that I like to see in a reading, which is the Death card and the Temperance card. You have them both together next to each other, which is, I think, pretty significant for you here, Libra. And so that looks very good. Some of you are dealing with situations around stability right now, and there could be something from the past that tries to re-enter into your life here in this week that you may want to take a look at, but we'll dive into that more as we go along. But right away in the middle, you have the Temperance card here, and this Temperance card is all about balance, right? And so you can see that this person on the card, which is actually a healing angel, the person on the Temperance card is actually associated with angels and healing in general. But it's also associated with the sign of Sagittarius. But more importantly, the Temperance card is about balance, right? And so you can see that they're kind of trying to balance out their fire and their water. And it says that as you go into a period of moderation and patience and balance, whatever it is that you're looking for will enter. So for people who are looking for like soulmates, for example, the way that they will find it, they will find that soulmate or whatever, that deep connection, whatever you want to call it, they'll find that person by maintaining some level of balance here. And that's how that person will enter into your life. Or if you've been looking to, let's say find a new job, find a new hobby, find a new friend group, whatever it is that you've been looking for, the Temperance card says you can have it, but you need to go into moderation right now and make sure that you're doing all things in moderation. But it can also represent a turnaround in your life happening, a situation turning around for the better. And we're going to talk about that more as we get to the future. But in the past, you have the Four of Wands and the Two of Pentacles. So Four of Wands is about potentially family stability, situations like that. You can see the young family here in the marriage ceremony. So it doesn't have to be about family, but it can be around stability in those areas. It can also just represent marriage. It's one of the biggest cards of marriage in the tarot to find. But this can also talk about foundations and achievements. The Two of Pentacles, this person here is kind of balancing out their money. You can see that they're juggling the pentacles between two hands. And so this can talk about how your money situation may be in a state of flux. It can represent juggling or fluctuating wealth in your life just generally happening. But along with that, it can say that you're maybe weighing options, weighing decisions. Some of you here, if you have been dating someone for some time, some of you may have been asking yourself or deciding on whether or not you should maybe propose to them in the past. Some of you may have done that, or some of you may have been considering doing that. Some of you also may be sort of trying to maintain a balance here. You do have these two messages of balance with the Two of Pentacles and the Temperance card. Both can indicate that. But for others of you here, there's something around your trying to create a stable foundation for yourself. And it's almost like you've been going back and forth on how to make that happen in your life at this time, as you see this Four of Wands and this Two of Pentacles in the past. So I'll be interested to see how we clarify these two cards here. In the future, you have the Death card and the Six of Pentacles. So the Six of Pentacles is about potentially someone from the past trying to re-enter. It can refer to ex-relationships or ex-partners, anything like that in your life. But the Six of Pentacles can also just talk about general nostalgia in your life, something from your past, whatever it may be, trying to come back in. And you know, this can come forward if you've been like dealing with like an addiction, that situation. This is just one example. I'm not saying you're all dealing with that, but you know, if you've been struggling with something like an addiction, this may be, you know, rearing its head back in, and you know, kind of going through the final test of working through that situation. The Death card it talks about some type of transformation happening in your life. This is not necessarily a bad thing. A lot of people see this card and take it literally. It does not mean literal death and dying. What it means is something inevitably changing here for you in the future. And you will be sort of going through something new as this change happens. It represents like butterfly energy. It's the energy of going from the caterpillar to the butterfly. What I really like here, I love to see this combination of the Death card and the Temperance, because these cards come one after the other, 13 and 14. And the Temperance card provides a necessary turnaround after going through an upheaval or after going through a change. And so it provides healing after going through some sort of major transformation. Remember, transformation can be very good, and oftentimes it is very good, but it can also be extremely challenging. And that's why you have this energy of the Temperance card that comes next to it in the major arcana. So it's very good to see those cards together. Moving up the pyramid here, okay, so you have the Tower, big things happening for Libra here. You have, wow, the Hanging Man, the Judgment card, Libra, what is going on here for you? And the Strength card. Okay, look at all of these major arcanas. That is definitely significant. So in this second layer here of the pyramid, you have all 4 cards being major arcanas, and then you had these 2 as well. So we now actually have more major arcana than we do of minor, which means for me, you're going through major life transformations. Okay, you're going through something big in your life at this time. What is also significant for you is the Hanging Man comes before the Death card. So you have 12, 13, 14, right? The Hanging Man, the Death card, the Temperance card. You going full circle here. Okay, you going through a process, going through a sort of metamorphosis here in your life. The Hanging Man really needs the Death card. This is another combination that I like to see, but you have like a 3-card combination here that I very rarely see. The Hanging Man needs the energy of the Death card, because look at them, right? They are just suspended where they are. They are not moving. They are not transforming themselves. They've been comfortable. They've gotten comfortable with where they're staying. And so, you know, you also have this Tower energy here, which is about you going through a potential, this is also a card of upheavals, but it's more about like a shock. It can also talk about a revelation. Now, what's very interesting for you is when you have this combination of the Tower and the Judgment card, I want to sort of hone in or drill in on this a little bit here. This is a classic for me. This is a combination of going through a spiritual awakening. If I were to come up with a combination for a spiritual awakening, it would be these 2 cards together. The lightning bolt here, this symbolizes this person going through a revelation, potentially. And the Judgment card is spiritual because the Judgment energy is the second to last card in the major arcana. And it says that the Judgment card asks you to go into a period of self-evaluation and ask yourself what it is that you need to do in order to complete the task of the major arcana, in order to get to the world, which would be presumably the next card in the Judgment energy. And the Judgment can be an energy of really getting honest with yourself, going through an honest sort of period of time. And this may for you have come after a period of like a wake-up call. Okay, there may have been a wake-up call here for you in the past with the Tower and the Judgment energy, especially as you have the Hanging Man in the middle. In that the Hanging Man's, just like I've said, just sort of staying where they are. What they really need is a wake-up call. Sometimes you have to fall to rise, okay? Sometimes you have to fall to rise. And this is what I feel like is happening for you. And I think there have been some deeply spiritual revelations for you. Or they're coming, okay? And you also have this strength energy, which is really encouraging you to have the willpower and know that you have the fortitude and the strength to work through whatever situation may be on the horizon here for you. Moving up the pyramid, you have the Ten of Wands, you have the Chariot, and the Seven of Pentacles. Wow, okay. So it's just so many major arcana here. So the Chariot in the middle, I love to see. This talks about, so what's interesting here is the Strength card talks about overcoming internal obstacles, number 8. Number 7, the Chariot indicates overcoming external obstacles. So internal, external. So you're going through all of it. You're going through it right now, Libra. You're really dealing with the big situations here at this time. The Chariot talks about not only overcoming external obstacles, but also it says that as you have self-discipline, you will be given a major reward. Some of you, there may be something around travel here with the Chariot energy, travel by vehicle, travel by car, something like that. But this is more about you overcoming an obstacle, no question about it. There is an obstacle being thrown on your path here with the Tower, the Death card, the Judgment, the Temperance, and the Hanging Man. But again, there's this really big energy of you going through it, right? Not resisting the obstacle, but rather going right through it and figuring out what it is that you need to do in order to work through that. This may be around your long-term stability as you have the Four of Wands and the Two of Pentacles together. This also, for some of you, may be around something from the past that you've been trying to work through, that you've been trying to heal through, that's maybe coming back in. That could certainly be the case. Moving up the pyramid here, you have the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups. Okay, so we now have two people kind of showing up here. Is this the only, yeah, those are the only two court cards that we see in this reading so far. And the Queen of Swords is potentially an air sign. It could be you showing up. But it is more about somebody who's fiercely independent in their life. And this represents you maybe you know, talking about how I didn't really touch on the Ten of Wands. I normally do, as you know, you watch my reading. So I'll do that now with this. The Ten of Wands represents a burden, you know, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulder. And you have that with the Queen of Swords here, which is sort of like, you know, the Queen of Swords is, as I said, trying to maintain your independence. It may mean that in the past you've been stuck on somebody here, and it may mean that there's been a relationship or a situation here with the Two of Pentacles that you know is a burden, and that you know you've been trying to sort of weigh, and that you know has been sort of weighing heavy on you with the Ten of Wands and the Queen of Swords together. And it's like you moving right through that. You have this Queen of Cups here as well, which is kind of interestingly enough opposite energy. The Swords is more about intellect and rationality and logic, versus the Queen of Cups couldn't be more opposite. It's about emotions and intuitive energy, right? So you have the left brain and the right brain energy here. You have the feminine and the masculine, although both of these are queens. But you have these sort of energies of, you know, balancing out your rational side and your logical side and your intuitive side and your feeling side here showing up. There could also be quite literally an air sign and a water sign around you, or this could be you here also having to deal with a water sign or something like that. You do have the Seven of Pentacles as well, which I did not touch on, but the Seven of Pentacles is about like your long-term financial situation happening in your life. It talks about potentially long-term investments paying off, but it can also represent a change in direction as well. And so I would trust your gut here as you have that being clarified with the Queen of Cups. Let's see what's at the top of the pyramid. Okay, wow, you have the Empress. Okay, so the last three cards with the double queens and the Empress, all feminine energy, right? And so for some of you, you may be dealing with a significant feminine in your life. This may be your mother, this may be a sister, maybe a daughter, a grandmother, whatever the case may be. It doesn't have to be any of those, but it can be for some of you. The Empress, though, is the most abundant card in the tarot because this represents resourcefulness and fertility, the ability to bring something into existence like a mother would nurture their children. And so at the top of the pyramid, it's a very nice card. You couldn't ask for a better card. You also have this Ace of Cups, which is new happy beginnings, new love entering into your life, new romance, and new starts. So there's something here being formed with the Ace of Cups, the Empress, and the Four of Wands. Some of you may be welcoming a child into the family family, if that's been on the table. But if that has not, you're bringing some sort of happiness into your life here with the Empress and the Ace of Cups. So this is incredible, but it's after going through some sort of revelation, some sort of shock, some sort of feeling or understanding. So thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.